Your Excellency, Mr. Antonio Tajani, Vice President of the Council of Ministers and Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of Italy. Your Highness, Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Palestine is a land imbued with history, faith, and profound sacred significance, and a place millions of Palestinians call home, a place where today an entire nation suffers. I wish this meeting was taking place as justice and peace had prevailed, a peace that would shine upon the earth and contribute to peaceful coexistence in the Holy Land and across the globe. But as we speak, Palestinians in tents in Gaza are still faced with grief and agony, fighting every day for their lives and the lives of their loved ones. Entire communities in the West Bank are under attack, their fields and homes set ablaze, their lives shattered. They all wonder and doubt that help is on the way. They all ask, when will the life of our children, of our people, finally be treated with the sanctity it deserves? When will bereaved mothers and orphaned children be allowed to mourn without fearing what is the next loss to expect? At the heart of the interfaith dialogue must reside this belief: we are all humans, all equals, and our inherent dignity must be upheld. Excellencies, this conflict is not religious, it is political, and as such it requires a political solution, one that ends the Israeli occupation and fulfills the rights of the Palestinian people in accordance with international law and UN resolutions, leading to the implementation of the two-state solution with the independent and sovereign state of Palestine living side by side with Israel in a region that finally enjoyed shared peace, security, and prosperity for all. We must together thwart the attempts to transform a political conflict that can be resolved into a religious conflict with no end in sight that will only perpetuate suffering in the Holy Land, but also inflame religious tensions and conflict across the region and the world. Religion can be invoked to foster respect for human dignity, to reject dehumanization, to honor the diversity that is the essence of this land. Or religion can be abused to justify violence, hatred, supremacy, monopoly, exclusion, and exclusivity. In this context, interfaith dialogue is essential to foster peace, promote mutual understanding, respect, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence. It must be grounded in international law and human rights and the values that lie at the heart of faith, regardless of denominations, the values of justice, humanity, and mercy. Allow me, therefore, to express our sincere appreciation to the government of Italy for convening this high-level meeting. I also wish to warmly welcome His Highness, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and express our profound appreciation for the Kingdom's principled leadership and sustained efforts in support of Palestine, the rights of its people, and the pursuit of a just and lasting peace in the region. We also thank all participating countries and call on them to intensify their efforts to uphold international law and advance a just, lasting, and comprehensive peace. Excellencies, both the New York Declaration and President Trump's plan recognize that peace requires more than political agreements. It also requires confronting hate speech and incitement while promoting mutual respect, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence. Palestine fully supports this vision. A genuine narrative for peace must therefore reject all forms of dehumanization and affirm the equal dignity of all. It must recognize the Palestinian people's history, identity, and enduring attachment to their ancestral land, together with our equal right to freedom, security, and sovereignty. The narrative of peace must be accompanied by measures on the ground, reflecting the move towards peace, not an entrenchment of occupation, oppression, annexation, and further violation of rights. This narrative must also be unequivocal. No religious belief can justify violence against innocent civilians and denial of their fundamental rights. It also must reject associating any religion with such actions or hold the followers of any faith responsible for the unlawful actions of governments and groups, whether in denouncing such actions or attempting to justify them. Excellencies, outrageous political claims are increasingly presented as religious entitlement, fueling extremism and instability in our region and beyond. Equally dangerous are attempts to portray the persecution of Palestinians as part of a supposed confrontation between Judeo-Christian civilization and Islam. Such narratives ignore the existence of Palestinian Christians, the first Christians of the world, and they dehumanize and incite against Muslims and fuel religious tensions. They are as false as they are irresponsible. We are proud that Palestine is a land of pluralism and that the cause of Palestine enjoys the support of people from all faiths and all walks of life as a reflection of its true universal nature, a people seeking their freedom and their right to live in dignity in their ancestral land. Excellencies, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism all have profound historical and spiritual ties to the Holy Land. None can claim exclusivity over its history or destiny. This diversity is not a weakness. It is its defining characteristic. This pluralistic heritage has long been protected by the historic status quo governing the holy places in Jerusalem. The historic status quo is neither symbolic nor optional. It is an essential framework that safeguards religious freedom and peaceful coexistence. It cannot be altered by Israel, the occupying power. It has to be observed by all political and religious leaders. Attempts to change it through legislation, administrative measures, restrictions on worship, or the imposition of new practices threaten not only the rights of Palestinians, but also regional and international stability and the universal character of the holy city. The images of extremists storming Al-Haram al-Sharif, accompanied by Israeli occupation forces, and the measures taken in regard to the churches in the city obliterate the historic status quo, and with it, the prospects of peaceful coexistence. The attacks on places of worship and on worshippers and members of the clergy are unacceptable and ignite deep resentment and fuel tensions. All these measures and actions must be stopped immediately. Excellencies, interfaith dialogue can challenge prejudice, counter incitement, restore recognition of our shared humanity, and help communities imagine a future beyond fear and conflict. But dialogue is not a substitute for justice. It must help it prevail. The success of this dialogue is also contingent on our collective ability to change the reality on the ground. While it is important that we adopt positions that do not normalize an unlawful and unjust reality or sustain and fuel its perpetuation, it is even more important that we act to create a just reality. As reflected in the New York Declaration, we must move from positions to implementation, from political consensus to irreversible action, from managing the suffering to ending conditions causing it, and from managing the conflict to ending Israel's illegal occupation and realizing the independent and sovereign state of Palestine so that peace can prevail in our region for the benefit of all. The urgency could not be greater. Interfaith dialogue can make a meaningful contribution to peace only when grounded in international law. Narratives are often subjective. They can never replace the objective standards that bind us all, the rules of international law, nor can they be invoked to justify violations of those rules. Our people feel the cost of impunity in their flesh. They cannot continue being denied the protection they are entitled to. No one can be asked to stand still and wait while their loved ones are being killed and maimed, while their homes are being taken or demolished, while their land is being stolen or laid waste. Our people will not surrender to the current reality, which promises them nothing but death, disposition, and displacement. Nor should they be expected to. They have heard for far long that circumstances were not ripe, that they need to wait for some change to occur, that nothing could be done, when we all know much, much more can be done. Despite our devastating reality, we have stayed away from despair or violence. We have chosen a different path, reaffirming our commitment to achieving our freedom through peaceful means, rejecting violence, supporting the New York Declaration, welcoming President Trump's plan, and engaging constructively with regional and international efforts for peace to stop the bloodshed and save our people from the inhumane conditions they are living in. Despite all that, a quick glimpse at the horrific situation in Gaza, the violent developments on the West Bank, and the continued policies against Palestinians in occupied East Jerusalem are very telling. We also committed to and responsibly implemented reforms in impossible circumstances. We have done so despite the relentless and escalating assaults against our people that are spiraling further out of control, not by accident, but by design, precisely to prevent the success of regional and international peace efforts and for ideological and electoral reasons. President Trump's plan and the New York Declaration are complementary and mutually reinforcing. They rely on key common principles, namely no occupation, no annexation, no forcible displacement, one Palestinian government, one law, one gun, reunifying the West Bank and the Gaza Strip under the Palestinian Authority, achieving Palestinian self-determination and independent statehood and peace in our region. The reality on the ground today remains in fundamental contradiction with these principles, and much more decisive action is needed to uphold them. We call upon all of you to do all that is necessary, to use all the leverage and the tools you have to uphold these principles and demonstrate to the Palestinian people that the peaceful path does lead to freedom, independence, security, and prosperity. History will be shaped by your ability to do so. To conclude, self-determination is an inalienable right. The state of Palestine on the 1967 borders, with East Jerusalem as its capital, is not a proposition, and the two-state solution is not optional that any Israeli government may accept or reject at will. Both are firmly established in international law and enjoy overwhelming international legitimacy. Peace, security, and prosperity for Palestinians and Israelis are entirely achievable, but there can be no lasting peace built on domination, inequality, or the denial of the rights of another people. There can be no peace between oppressors and oppressed, occupiers and occupied, subjects and masters. Peace must rest on justice, mutual recognition, equality before the law, and respect for the dignity and humanity of every individual. Peace in our part of the world, given its significance to billions across the globe, will echo everywhere. For very long, the Holy Land suffered from too much sacredness, that it seemed cursed to be this significant for so many people. Let us restore the blessing of this holiness for the people of the land and for peoples everywhere. Thank you very much.